Hello and welcome. It is 10:30. It is the 16th day of March, 2021. I am your lopsided guide to all things gaming, the OGGM. I can't tell if it's the camera that makes me look lopsided, it's my computer that makes me lopsided, or just one shoulder is higher than the other and I am just lopsided. I don't know. Content warning. I'm going to be addressing Wizards of the Coast and the Wizards of the Coast survey that they put up on Monday, and the responses to the Wizards of the Coast survey. And I must admit, the responses to the Wizards of the Coast survey are far more negative than I expected them to be. I'm quite surprised. So, if discussing the topic of Wizards of the Coast, the history of Dungeons & Dragons, surveys, or the fact that there are Dungeons & Dragons products that aren't 5e, or that people have a negative response to anything Wizards of the Coast does, is something that will trigger you, or the fact that I might mispronounce something because I have a learning disability is something that might trigger you, please stop watching now because I will be addressing the Wizards of the Coast's latest controversy. Okay, first and foremost, anything I say going forward, other than a few opinions, is based upon what I am reading right now on the Wizards of the Coast Twitter, the Dungeons & Dragons Twitter, the Wizards of the Coast Discord, and several other Discords that are responding to this. Most of, if not all of this, is not my opinion. I have nothing positive or negative to say about the survey other than the survey existed. So do not attack me if I say something negative about Wizards of the Coast, because this is coming directly from Twitter and Discord and hundreds of other people. I could care less going forward. On Monday, Wizards of the Coast released a survey up on their Wizards of the Coast website. I have a link to it down below. The survey was just taken down. It might go back up. I don't know. This is nothing new. And on the surface, there's absolutely nothing positive or negative about this. It's just a thing. This pencil, just a thing. They put up a survey. They put up surveys all the time. They put up surveys on Earth Arcana at least once a month. They put up surveys about Magic at least once a month. They put surveys up about their product constantly. They want to know, or at least they claim they want to know, what people think, what people know, what people remember. This survey might have had something to do with the upcoming contest or not. It might have just been Wizards of the Coast testing the waters to see if there's any interest in them revisiting older IP or not. Or it could have just been a random survey because it's that time of year and they're studying demographics and they're studying how people respond to questions. Who knows? They also put up a survey about the age range of people that play D&D, and from that we know, according to Wizards of the Coast, 70% of their target audience currently is people under 25, and 89% of that audience is male, and only 17% is female. I don't agree with that. I think more than 70% is female, but whatever. That's just me. Whatever. Survey. Big deal. Nothing. Harmless. Shouldn't be a thing. But it is a thing. And I took the survey. The survey asked some questions, general questions, age, gender, how long have you been playing, what's your favorite version, what's your favorite race, some 5e questions like in 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons, if you have advantage, what does it mean? And then it put several different answers. And then, of course, the right answer is if you roll a d20, and then if you have advantage, you get to roll again and choose the higher of two numbers. Is there anybody didn't know that? Surprise, that's what advantage is. And then there was a section about racial abilities. Elf, do you like the following racial abilities, 1 through 5 for elves? Infravision, Mark of the Wild, bonus to skill, talk to trees, leave no shadow, walk on snow, whatever the elf abilities are. And then it was like 1, I hate them. 2, 3, yeah, 4, and 5. Hey, yeah, this is the best. And there was like for every race. And then there were some questions about the current edition and older editions, and like how many of these older editions have you played? And it had a picture of each of the older editions. What do you think of the older editions? What do you think of 5th edition? What do you think we should do in the future? completely harmless questionnaire. Okay, so there was a survey. The survey asked some relatively innocuous, harmless questions about D&D present, D&D past, and general D&D knowledge. Do you know what a half-elf is? Do you know what advantage is? And that was it. And they put it up on the site. People could answer. Support me, Water. I need a sponsor and I will sell out. And we're about to get into the ugly part. So once again, content warning. If anything about what's going on with Wizards of the Coast and the current controversy about this questionnaire in any way, shape, or form offends you, please stop watching now, because this is nothing to do with me. I am just reading what hundreds of other people wrote. I could care less about the survey. It was completely harmless. I took it. So here's the thing. The Twitterverse is in flame over this survey. And they are accusing, what a shock, Wizards of the Coast of gatekeeping and racism. Why are they accusing Wizards of the Coast of gatekeeping? Because it references older games besides 5th edition. And apparently it's gatekeeping if you talk about the fact that Wizards of the Coast and Hasbro and TSR has games that predate 5th edition that have the name Dungeons and Dragons on it. And apparently it's gatekeeping and racism if you ask people what do they think about these abilities, like, hey, gnomes can talk to small animals. Do you think that's cool or do you think that's dumb? Gatekeeping. Wizards of the Coast is being accused of gatekeeping because in this survey, they recognize that they have a history and they acknowledge we made other games besides 5th edition. There's a 4th edition. There's a 3rd edition. There's a 2nd edition. There's a 1st edition. There's advanced. There's basic. There's, like, depending upon who you asked, 12 to 21 versions and editions of Dungeons and Dragons. And Wizards of the Coast acknowledges that. Okay, big deal. I acknowledge that I had breakfast yesterday. Nobody cares. This is gatekeeping. There are other races besides humans in Dungeons & Dragons, and there always have been. They're based upon the Tolkien classics, and then as the game progressed, they added more, like tieflings and dragonborns and half vampire and half mermaid and half carrot, and I don't know what else, but I'm sure there are plenty. But because they asked questions like, do you think elves are cool because they can walk on snow? That's racism. Again, don't get mad at me. This is not coming from me. I don't care. But apparently, you do. And apparently the 5th edition crowd is upset because Wizards of the Coast is gatekeeping because they're acknowledging they have a history. Now, I guess in some weird way, I can sort of understand because, as we just discussed, Wizards of the Coast, current audience, as of yesterday, and this year-long, whatever thing they did, is people ages 25 and under, 87%, which are male. So I can understand a 11-year-old might not know that there were other editions of D&D besides 5th edition, and might not care, because I'm not playing 2nd edition, I'm playing 5th, so why do I care that you had earlier editions? This hurts my head. I mean, I'm surprised. Just when I think the Twitterverse, Critical Role, 5th edition, fan base can't do anything more stupidly toxic, this happens. This is a bloody hundreds of people on the Wizards of the Coast site, on the D&D site, on the D&D Discord, on the Wizards of the Coast Discord, on several other Discords that are both, talk about 5th edition and just address gaming in general. Hundreds of people across the United States, age 25 and under, I guess, are upset because Wizards of the Coast posted this questionnaire, and it's gatekeeping because Wizards of the Coast says, hey, we made stuff. And it's racism because Wizards of the Coast is asking, what do you think about this stuff? Wizards of the Coast has a history. They've been around for 40 some odd years. They were originally called TSR. Then TSR sold out, or whatever, depending upon which story you listen to a company called Hasbro, at which point they were renamed Wizards of the Coast. Why were they called Wizards of the Coast? Because they moved their base of operations to someplace on a coast, and since they were making Magic the Gathering and Dungeons and Dragons, Wizards, and they couldn't call themselves Tactical Study Rules, TSR, anymore because that name belonged to the Gygax family. But, and I assure you, in case you don't believe me, I can show you the wiki. There are versions of Dungeons & Dragons that predate 5th edition. Look, there's some on my shelf. But in case you don't believe me, there's a link to the D&D wiki down below. This is gatekeeping, according to the Twitterverse, according to the 5th edition crowd, according to the Critical Role crowd, according to the people 25 and under, 87% male. This is gatekeeping. This is racism. How is it gatekeeping, you fucking idiots? It is religiously, harmlessly acknowledging we have a past, and that's gatekeeping. That is literally like walking into a museum of history and seeing something like, I don't know, the Mona Lisa, a work of art that was made a long time ago by a famous dead guy, pointing at the Mona Lisa and saying, that's gatekeeping because you're putting art up on your wall from the past. The only thing you should have in this museum is stuff that was made recently. How is it racism acknowledging the fact that there are races in D&D that aren't human? And there are races that have weird abilities, like seeing in the dark, being able to talk to plants, being able to run fast, being able to hide pretty well, being able to hold your breath for a long period of time. Apparently, that's racism. That's like saying you walk into a museum and there's a painting, and in the painting, there's somebody with, I don't know, their head sideways, and they have an earring of a pearl, but they're from a different country, like, I don't know, Holland, and it's racism because how dare you show a painting of a woman from a different country? Or if you walk into a natural history museum and you see, I don't know, a mummy, it's racism because how dare you put a mummy in this museum? The only thing that should be in this museum is, I don't know, fish? And again, this is not me. Do not get angry at me. This is you people saying this shit. How in the name of Gary Gygax's ghost is this gatekeeping? Gatekeeping. You're not letting people into the game. You're making us think about things that we don't want to think about. You're putting a gate up because, and the gatekeeping is, hey, guess what? We made stuff in the past. What do you think about it? If you didn't know what it was, there literally was at the bottom a no opinion. I don't care. I don't know what this is. I never played it post. Now, I don't know why Wizards of the Coast put this survey up. They put surveys up all the time. It's like they're a corporation whose job is to make money. And the way they make money is understanding the demographics of the target audience. And the only way you can understand the demographics of your target audience is asking questions. It's like the US Census. Every 7 years, people go around asking things like, how long have you lived here? What's your name? How old are you? And then that goes into a machine that figures out percentages like 87% of the people in Los Santos are green. I think Los Santos is the name of the town from Grand Theft Auto, right? I'm not sure. But because Wizards of the Coast put out a survey where they wanted to know some demographic shit, it's gatekeeping and racism. And I'm sorry, maybe I'm stupid. I don't understand why this is gatekeeping. Why is acknowledging your history gatekeeping? This is completely harmless. They're not saying anything about anything. They're not attacking anyone. They're not censoring anyone. They're not making an opinion about any race, creed, color, religion, or anything. They're not doing anything. It is completely and utterly harmless. They're simply asking questions like, how old are you? Are you male? Where do you live? How long have you been playing? Which version have you played? Do you know what a 20-sided dice is? Do you know that we have gnomes in Dungeons & Dragons? Do you know that gnomes can see in the dark? Do you think it's cool that gnomes can think of the dark? Or do you think it's dumb that gnomes can think of the dark? Demographics. Simple question and answer so they can understand shit like who's buying our stuff and why. And what do they like? And what do they don't like? It's like asking questions that are, did you enjoy this ride that we just built at Disneyland? Yes, I did. No, I didn't. Did you like this ice cream flavor? Hey, we just put out a mystery flavor of chips. It's, what was it? Bacon Corbano? Do you like it? But you idiots, in your desperate need to be angry about anything that relates to Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition Critical Role in any way, shape, or form, even if in any way tilts you even slightly, makes you... Why would you be angry over the fact that there are other editions of Dungeons & Dragons besides 5th edition? Why would you be angry that they acknowledge there's other games besides 5th edition? The hobby is 45, 47, 48 years old. There are billions of role players on the face of the earth, playing millions of role-playing games at this point in time with a history of 48 years of stuff being published. That means even though Dungeons & Dragons is 57% of the worldwide market, actually, yeah, I think it's 60%. 60%. 40% of the population of the planet are playing other games besides Dungeons & Dragons. 70% of the current population in the United States are males aged 25 and under playing D&D. That means 30% are people playing other games and people who know that D&D has a history. First edition, second edition, third edition. If you don't believe me, the wiki link is down below. And I feel like I'm repeating myself, and I probably am repeating myself, and one of you marks is going to say I'm repeating myself, but I don't really have a point. My point is, what's the point? This is the Seinfeld episode of Dungeons & Dragons. You're literally upset over nothing. This is what we have come to, you fucking marks. You're upset that Dungeons & Dragons, Wizards of the Coast, Hasbro acknowledges that they have a history. And it's gatekeeping because they're making you answer questions about this. That's not what gatekeeping is. You should be happy that they care about what you think. You should be happy that there are people who have been playing this game a long time who might be able to teach you shit or show you shit. I don't know why you're upset. I don't understand why you're upset. Perhaps one of you vapid 5th edition fans who take such pleasure in attacking me could explain to me why this is a deal. How in the name of Gary Gygax's ghost is this gatekeeping? It is not gatekeeping. It is not racism. It is not sexism. It is not anything. It is completely harmless. Harmless, like this piece of paper. Harmless, like this glass of water. Harmless. D&D has a history. Accept it. You're not the first people to play the stupid game, and you won't be the last people to play the stupid game. And what's really ironic, as I bring this 20-minute rant to an end, what's really ironic, and there's so much hypocritical irony in this, is the 5th edition Twitterverse people accusing Wizards of the Coast yet again of being racism and gatekeeping, but you're also the same people who will rally with vehement anger and vile toxicity against anybody who says anything even slightly negative about Critical Role or 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons. You're fucking hypocrites. You're fucking upset over a survey. You're blowing things way out of proportion, accusing Wizards of the Coast of so many things, and nothing good will come out of this, because you know Wizards of the Coast is going to think, well, these people are upset. We better change something and censor something and make it even less offensive so they don't accuse us of gatekeeping next time, which makes me wonder what the fuck 5.5 is going to look like, because in case you didn't know, they're working on a new player's handbook. Yeah, I know this because I talked to somebody from Wizards of the Coast yesterday. There's a new player's handbook coming out. Okay, this is no longer speculation. I probably shouldn't be telling you this, but yeah, they're working on a new 5th edition 5.1 player's handbook. Revised, expanded, spell-checked. Which means the person who is reading these Twitter comments is going to go, oh God, we upset people. We better make it even less harmless to eventually 5th edition 5.1, 6th edition D&D is going to be, I don't know, My Little Pony. And again, don't get angry at me, you fucking marks. This isn't me. This is you. This is your Twitter. This is your Discord. This is you responding to Wizards of the Coast's harmless survey. A survey which is now down because so many of you were upset for a reason that in my 55 years of walking this earth, and I try to play devil's advocate. I try. Lord knows I try to understand the shit you people do. And Lord knows I try to understand the choices Wizards of the Coast makes. I've gotten in trouble for that. And I'm probably going to get in trouble for this vlog. But please, and please, prove me wrong. Explain to me how this is racism. Explain to me how this is gatekeeping. Explain to me, please, what you're upset about. Because maybe you can change my mind. I don't know. We all know you're probably smarter than I am. We know fucking according to you guys, you are smarter than I am. And everybody's smarter than I am. And I feel like I've been just talking in circles for 22 minutes. So I'm going to shut the fuck up. I am your grumpy guide to all things gaming. Extremely baffled. If you appreciate this content, comment down below. If you don't appreciate this content, and we know you don't, comment down below. If you're offended in any way by this content, I'm sorry, but I warned you at the beginning, so don't get angry at me. You can't, according to the FCC, because I warned you. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. Help me hit 500 subs by August 4th, and we'll do something crazy, like take a tour of Seth's Games and Anime, or eat some spicy chili, or I don't know what. Support me through the Patreon, PayPal, and Ko-Fi so I can buy a new computer. And apparently I need to buy a new brain so I can understand the shape of the world currently. Until next time, Steve, get the fuck off my lawn, you fucking marks.